I shouldn't ever let age come into factor when wanting to go out there and make a difference or a change in the world.
Hi Navya, thank you so much for talking to us at Entrepreneur today.
Hi, thank you.
And we have seen a wonderful journey of yours, in the podcast space and as an entrepreneur. So it's been wonderful having you here.
Thank you so much.
So Navya, you come from a family of such accomplished individuals. So what was it that a particular age wherein you wanted to create an identity for yourself?
I think after I graduated from college, I actually started my non-profit Project Naveli. It started actually during COVID, which was a time where I think everyone was trying to do their best to help in any way they could, and this was my attempt at wanting to do the same. We started our journey at the foundation with working on women's health, which at the time and always is a very pressing issue and something that I think needs a lot more awareness and attention. So that was really where our efforts began, and very fortunate to 4 years down the line have 3 more verticals that we have added to the foundation and the work that we do.
So there are different segments which you're handling, whether we talk about your family business, we talk about your journey as an influencer and podcaster, we talk about your journey as a startup founder, I would say. So which one do you like the most? Which role do you relate most with?
It would be hard to pick, but I think one that at least gives me the most happiness is really working with my father in our family business. It's a real honor to be the 4th generation of my family to be working actively in the business and helping grow a very important sector for our country, which is the agriculture sector. So I think that's a role that gives me a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness to play.
And you are an inspiration for today's youth. And can you tell us, how do you balance all these roles?
I don't know if I'm an inspiration. I'm still honestly learning myself how to balance these roles. I don't think I have an answer for that because every day I'm trying to do exactly that. But I think I'm just very fortunate to be able to do what I love to do, and I've felt very supported throughout this journey, whether it's been through my family or my friends or even the colleagues I get to work with on a daily basis. So I think that's really what helps me keep the balance.
Okay. And if I could go back to your podcast, and now we are actually seeing the 2nd season. So what was the inspiration behind starting this?
So the podcast is something that my mother, my grandmother, and I do together, and it was actually my mom's idea. We really wanted to kind of have certain conversations through our podcast because we felt that having these conversations around very important topics like we do cover on the podcast, such as women's health or women's rights or financial independence, were really important things to be spoken about very transparently. And the podcast is a great medium. I think it's a industry that's growing rapidly in India, and we felt that it would be a great platform to have a tri-generational kind of conversation about the same topic but have very different opinions about it and share that with the world and see what people felt about it. And we're really grateful for all the love that we got for the show, season 1 and season 2, and we are working on season 3 as well, so that's something that's we're looking forward to.
You just spoke about various topics which you cover in your podcast. So how do you cover these topics? These are more kept under wraps, and when it's out in the public, how do you ensure the sensitivity is ensured?
I think even while shooting and recording for the podcast, we really try to make sure that we talk as openly and transparently as possible. I think conversations around women's health and women's bodies and rights are things that should be had more openly, like I said, and I think for us it's very important to have that in the most sensitive and correct way that we can, so that the right message comes across. And so far I think the response has been positive to a lot of the conversations we've had, so very grateful for that.
Okay, any particular surprising or interesting response you remember for your podcast which you want to share?
I think a lot of people related to the dynamics between the 3 of us, because I think a lot of young girls my age maybe have similar dynamics with the women in their houses, and I think it was really nice to hear that they could relate to a lot of the conversations we were having, or a lot of the way in which we are with each other, which is I think really what this podcast is all about. So I'm glad that it resonated with people in that way.
So, talking about various issues, I mean, women empowerment is one of those which you have particularly talked about. So, how much do you relate with it? And you have seen three generations of women, how they have dealt with society and various other things. So, what are your thoughts around it?
No, I think I get a lot of inspiration from the women around me, whether that's in my family or outside as well. I think I work with a lot of women in my company, in my foundation, very closely, and I think it's always an inspiration to see, the strength and ability that women have to do and achieve everything that they desire. And I take away a lot from that and from every woman that I meet on a daily basis. So I think a lot of the work that we do at Project Naveli really comes because and is possible because of a lot of strong women who are on our team. And even the women we meet when we're out in the field, I think a lot of stories that we get to take away from that. And I think that's really the motivational reason behind why we do what we do at the foundation.
Sure. And when you wanted to start as an entrepreneur, whom did you go to for advice? Or typically, as a founder, when you face any issues, whom do you talk to?
I think, a lot of people, whether it be family, friends, or even mentors that I've, had the privilege to kind of share and exchange ideas with. I think, my father, being a businessman himself, was someone who really kind of guided me through that journey of being an entrepreneur and a startup founder. He's, been running this company for over 30 years now, and I think his experience and his advice is always very, very valuable to me. So I think he's someone who I really kind of took a lot of advice from when I was starting off.
Okay. And now we are also seeing that you're going back to B school. So, I mean, why did you take that decision?
You're never too old or never too young to get an education. I think an education is something I'm always happy to have, always happy to learn. And I think no better place to kind of do an MBA than at IIM Ahmedabad. I think more than the professors in the institution, I think really what is the most incredible part of this program are the students, my batchmates. I've had the honor and privilege to meet some incredibly talented and great minds, and I think that experience to me will always be very special. And I have another 2 years to go, so I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's really a place that gives you something that that no, you can't get anywhere else. So I'm very, very fortunate to be studying at an institution like that.
But any specific life hacks you want to share with our audience?
For B school?
No,
I don't know.
about
I
managing
need
it
those
all.
hacks myself. I think I need those hacks myself, so I
About
should be
managing
asking
it
that
all.
question. No, actually, I mean, I'm still trying to juggle all those things, but I think everyone is today. I think a lot of young people are wearing many different hats and juggling many different things, whether it's professional or personal. And I think it's a very admirable quality that I see in Gen Zs today, that they really are multitaskers, and they manage to do it so well and make it look so effortless. So I think it's something that I would want to ask them.
Okay. And lastly, any piece of advice you want to give to women entrepreneurs?
I don't know if I can. I still have a lot more to achieve before I can give any advice. But something that I was told when I started off my journey was, that I shouldn't ever let age, come into factor when, wanting to go out there and make a difference or a change in the world. A lot of times, I think young people are doubted for their experience and their knowledge, because a lot of young people today are trying to change the world. So someone once told me that don't ever let that hold you back from wanting to do what's right. So I think that's something I try to follow actively in my work and even in my personal life.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.